So it's a pleasure to be here with you. If you can hear me, please type 111 in the chat so I can. Yes, thank you. Great, fantastic. This feedback is good. I hope you all had a good day. I hope you're all enjoying life. If you work from home, please just type WFH, working from home. And if you have gone back to the office, you can type office. I am working from home. Happily so. Yes, and oh yes, some people are on site physically. Yes, so hello to you there. I wish I could see your faces and see how excited you are after the day, or see how drained you look. It was one of those days. But whatever the case, whether you're at home, you're on site, wherever, it's just a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. And that was a beautiful worship session. Well done. Okay, so today we're talking about love languages, and we are going to dive right into it. For anyone who knows me, I like laying foundations first, so take some time to do that. And I will just start with this. I think we should consider this statement: real love lasts forever. If you agree, type yes, and if you do not agree, type no. Real love, real, heartfelt, serious love lasts forever. If you agree, type yes. If you do not agree, type no. Let's know what people really think, because I mean, come on, this thing should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. If it happens, it happens. You've got it, you've got it. So, yes. Is that what you think? Real love lasts forever. You don't need to do anything about it. It's there, it's there. The butterflies, those feelings like, oh yeah, I can't do without him. He can't do anything wrong. I mean, he's fantastic, he's perfect. All that, everybody else thinks there's something wrong, but this guy is everything. Yeah, real love lasts forever. Yeah, I see a couple of yeses and yeses and yeses and yeses. I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I just asked you a trick question, and I did not start with Mythbuster. I mean, if I had said Mythbuster, everybody would have known, okay, this is going to be a couple she's throwing. But in actual fact, real love does not last forever unaided. Yes, if you just assume that what you feel at the early stages, that whole feeling I was describing, if you assume that that is how it's going to be perpetually, if you assume that that's how it's going to be for the rest of your life, I mean, I met this guy, we just clicked. We clicked as in we clicked. And I can't imagine life without him. He's just perfect. I mean, it feels like a match made in heaven. Right now, at the early stage, that's how it feels for most people. And they think that that's how it will continue. As somebody said, Aneti, I see you. You said, after your description. No, thank you. Yeah, if you feel you don't have to do anything and it's just going to be perfect and it just keep going that way, then you're actually mistaken. So research has shown that on the average, after 2 years, the butterflies fly away. Either they fly away or they die. I'm not quite sure what happens to them, but you will not find them after about 2 years. And at that point, you need to actually put your hands on the plow and work to keep that marriage alive, work to keep that relationship going. Yes. So yes, real love does not last forever. All right, so thank you everyone for your contribution. It was nice to see. Yes, I know some people answered genuinely and really hold the position that real love lasts forever. But yeah, now it will disappear. That feeling that makes you feel like it's perfect, it will go away after some time. This is where love languages come in. This is where love language is coming. And you wonder, why do we even have to talk about love languages? I mean, isn't it natural for you to just know how to communicate with somebody if you are in love with them and so on? But it isn't always the case. You may be fortunate that you meet someone and you guys are compatible even when it comes to love languages. I mean, you share the same love languages. I'm sure right now you're wondering what's love languages, but we're going to get there. Okay. Yeah, we're going to get there. So you just need to know that love languages are important, and they are important to help you achieve that happily ever after that you desire. We'll get to it. Now, if you look at the topic, love languages, let's look at love. What's love? And I'm just going to run through some of the definitions I found online. Love is an intense feeling, right? It's an intense feeling of deep affection for another person. It's a great interest. It's a pleasure that you have in something. It's a feeling of warm personal attachment to someone. It's a feeling of liking someone very much and caring a lot about them. It's also a feeling of strong attraction and emotional attachment. These are some of the definitions we have out there. And with these definitions, you see it just listen to what it's saying. Love is a feeling, it's a feeling. It's a feeling. A feeling comes around so many times, makes it feel like it's not tangible, right? Like it starts and feelings are your feelings. Feelings are personal, right? So it makes it feel like love starts and ends with you. Yeah, but if that were the case, then the result of this would be frustration, to be loneliness, because it's all about you. It would be despair and maybe even depression, because there's no outlet. So just imagine you love something so much and you're just like a balloon and you're swelling up with all this love, and the love is getting so intense and there's no outflow, there's no expression, there's no outlet. Over time, you're going to self-destruct like a balloon that just swells and swells and eventually it just bursts, right? So this leads me to say that there has to be more. And what's that more? There has to be an outflow. There has to be an expression. There has to be a way that you show that feeling, right, of interest, that pleasure, that attraction. There has to be a way you show it. So for instance, you go to a stadium, you're a football fan, you go to a stadium, right, or you're sitting at home. Yes, when your team is scoring or doing well, you're making noise, you're singing. You know how you sing for more gold, all we are saying, and you stand up and you shout and you show. When they score, you shout, yeah! You buy the jersey, you do all of that to show, you express, right? And the interesting thing is, with inanimate objects, you can do whatever you want. There are no rules. You can just express your love whatever way you choose. But it's not quite the same way when you're talking about human beings, right? When you're dealing with people, you can't just say, oh, I love you, I'm going to express it however I feel because I love you, so I'm going to do it however I want. No. With people, you now have to be careful. You have to look at, what is this other person's preference? Who am I relating with? How do they feel, right? So you have to look at what's more expression. And in the Christian circle, I mean, it's so easy for us to see this because it's in the scriptures. You see how the word is described in 1 Corinthians 13. You see, love is patient, love is kind, love does not demand its own way, love keeps no record of wrong, love rejoices when the truth wins, love is always hopeful, love never gives up. These are all action words. So you have to combine the feelings you have with expressions, and these expressions are actions. So you can actually say that love is a feeling, it's an interest, it's a pleasure that requires expression by taking action. So what kind of action are you going to take? Because you're dealing with human beings, that action has to be structured. That action has to be systematic. That action has to be properly expressed in a language. So language is the principal method of human communication. Consists of words, can be conveyed by speech, by writing, or by gesture. So it's not just about what you say, it's about what you do, it's about how you do it, and so on. So if you look at Genesis 11 and I like this part because it talks a lot about language. You see these guys at the Tower of Babel, they wanted to build this tower. They had the same language. The people were united. God said there was nothing they would not be able to do, right? Because they had this understanding, because they had one language. And God decided, hey, because their purpose was against the instruction he had given them in the first place, he decided to go and confuse their language, gave them different language, and because of that, they were scattered all over the world. Now, look at two scenarios. Scenario one, they spoke the same language, they understood each other, they could accomplish anything. That's scenario one. And look at scenario two, after God stepped in and confused their language, said they had different languages at this point. They did not understand each other. There was confusion. And they could not accomplish their goal. Just the one goal they set, they couldn't accomplish it anymore. Why? Just because of the language that was now different. See how important this whole thing of language is. I'm taking time to establish the basis because sometimes we just think it's not a big deal. Why is it so important? I mean, I should be able to. I've always been this way. Why do I need to change? Why is it so critical? It's my way of doing things. Do I have to change because of? I mean, sometimes we try to belittle these things because we feel they're no big deal. But hey, you really need to understand that if the language is there and there is alignment and there's unity and there's oneness in that language and both parties are on the same page, you can actually be a force to be reckoned with. As a couple, you can achieve so much more. As a team, you can go the distance. For you, nothing is impossible. But then, regardless of how strong party one is and party two, by the time they come together, if they are not aligned, they're not speaking the same language, if they don't understand each other, if they cannot communicate, if they can't agree and align and so on and so forth, they will not be able to make the most of their individual strengths put together. They will fall short in so many ways, and more often than not, like people scattered all over the earth after their language was they had different languages. You can also see relationships scatter. Yes, you can see relationships scatter when you do not learn to speak each other's love languages. So, yeah. Generally speaking, okay, love language is important because it helps you to communicate love. So let's just say, what is a love language? Okay, it's your means of expressing love to someone else. How am I going to tell you that I love you? How am I going to express these feelings that I have? It's the love language I'm going to use. It's a way of showing that you have those intense feelings of deep affection for the other person. It's a way of showing those interests you have, the pleasure that you derive in spending time with them and so on. That's the love language. Why is it important? Because there's a wholeness that comes when you know you are loved. And I know if you just look within yourself, if you have had love growing up, there is a wholeness that you have. And if you haven't had it, you know that you always feel like something is missing because you didn't have love from maybe your father or your mother or so on. There's a wholeness that comes from knowing that you are loved. And even when you come into relationships, there's a wholeness that comes from knowing that person loves you. And that is why love languages are so important, because we need to learn, we need to be able to communicate love to others. Okay, so let's get into the meat of this matter now. How can we express love? How can we let people know we love them? What are the love languages? If you're following me so far, please just give me a thumbs up, type number 1, just something. Let's know that you're with me on this journey. Okay, so there's somebody called Dr. Gary Chapman. When I was in university, I read his book. His book was titled The 5 Love Languages. And that book really, 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 really seriously helped me because it helped me to understand more. It helps you understand your friends, your siblings, your parents, and people that come into your life, you can see, oh, this is person's love language. Oh, this is how I need to relate with this one. Oh, the problem with this guy is this. Sometimes that is like a problem. The problem with him is that he likes people to tell him when he's doing something well. He likes too much commendation and so on. Yes, this book was really helpful. And in that book, Dr. Guy Chapman described or outlined 5 types, main types of love languages, right? And before I get into it, he said love languages are how you give and receive love. He said love languages are unique and they vary from person to person. So you find one person who expresses love this way and loves to receive love a certain way. Another person is different. If you come down to it, you have 5 of them, and I'm going to list them. There's quality time. So if you're taking notes, this is a good time. There's quality time. There's words of affirmation. There's physical touch, there's acts of service, and then there's receiving gifts. So I like to, just to help me remember, I like to say it this way. So I like to say, stay with me. Then say something nice to me. And then touch me. Some people don't like touch me, they like, touch me. Because you know how some words have been misused, and associated with so many other things that are not so pleasant, and because of that, when you say it looks as if it's a bad word. No, touch me, right? And then I say help me, and then I say enrich me. And we're going to talk about these 5. So we'll start with the first one, quality time, which I say stay with me. This one I can tell you all about it because that's one of my love languages. Stay with me, quality time. Let's spend time together. This person who has this love language wants to spend time with you. They want to sit down and look at your face. They want to just be in your space, whether you're having a conversation or not, whether you're doing some activities together. No, they just want to be in your space. And sometimes they really want your attention while they are in your space, So for instance, they'll tell you, right now, I don't want the TV to be on because I want you to focus. I want you to focus on me. I want us to talk. I don't want the TV to distract us. Stuff like that. People that have quality time as a love language want to spend time with the person they love. And they also would like that to be reciprocated. So these are the people that most of the time will say, do you really have to go out, Or if you visit them and you stay for some time and you want to leave, do you really have to go now? Can't you stay a little longer, Because they just want to spend time with you. It's their way of expressing love. And it's important to know this, right? Because if you meet one of those people, you will know, okay, I need to actually make time to be with this person. If not, it's going to come across as if they are not important to me. I don't love them, and so on and so forth. So that's the first one, which is quality time. I will give you some real life scenarios. My husband and I, when we were going out, we would go to a park like Millennium Park in Abuja back then, and we'll just sit down and we'll talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. There's no side attraction. There were no side attractions. There's nothing fancy. Nobody's coming to dance for you or anything. You're just sitting down on green, boring grass. And we're talking. And that was really important. I think we shared this quality time as that's one love language we have in common. So it was nice and fun. Nobody was complaining. Nobody was in a hurry to leave. So yeah. And sometimes even as a couple, now that we're married, sometimes we just go somewhere and do something together. Back in the day, we would go to the Palms and sit in the car. Just drive to the Palms, sit in the car, recline the seats, and gist for like 2.5 hours or so. And then when it's getting late, okay, we'll drive back home. I mean, just spend time together uninterrupted, no distractions. That's quality time. So you need to know that. And you need to, they're different, you need to know that. So that's quality time. Now I'll go to the next one, which is words I want to run through so we can have time for questions. Words of affirmation. Say something nice to me, right? This is words of affirmation. And here you're looking for verbal compliments, okay, or words of appreciation, right, from this person that you love. And if that's your love language, you're looking for those words, right? And if that's the love language of your friend, of your partner, of your spouse, you need to make sure that you are speaking those words. So it's either words that will show appreciation, words to encourage them, words to praise them for accomplishments, kind words. Just be nice. Just say something nice, right? How difficult is it? You wake up in the morning, wow, you just woke up and you look really good. Yeah, nice. Okay, you just made your hair. Your hair is beautiful. Oh, I like your haircut. Person is feeling, are you really sure it's good? The barber didn't quite get it right. Well, I like the way they carved this point, brings out your face, and so on and so forth. Or they did well in school, or they got a promotion at work, and so on. Rather than just let it pass, really make a fuss about it, like, wow, this is excellent, your result is fantastic, it's amazing. Oh, you got a promotion? Yes, I knew you could do it. Not just, oh, really, we're promoted, congratulations, cool stuff. That might be enough for somebody else, but for someone whose love language is words of affirmation, you need to say more. You need to say more. You need to say more. You need to let that person know, and as in say a lot to make them feel this commendation, this praise, this encouragement, and so on. Okay, so, and then kind words is all part of it. A gentle answer. So these people want you to speak kindly to them, even if they have done something wrong. Shouting at them is not the way forward. Shouting at them is more like saying, I don't like you, I hate you, and so on. Shouting at them, you may be thinking it's correcting them, but for someone whose love language is words of affirmation, shouting at them is not going to help. Okay, so that's some of the things you need to know about words of affirmation. Now I'll go to wait. For words of affirmation, you need to understand that it's also where you say, I love you. It's also where you say, I appreciate you. It's also where you say, you're the most important person to me, and so on. Now, some people feel, well, I'm not much of a talker, so I don't have to. Some wife says to the husband, honey, you haven't said, I love you to me in a long time. And the husband says, well, I said it at the altar when we got married. And nothing has changed. If something changes, I'll tell you. But for now, just know that I love you. I said it at the altar, nothing has changed. I mean, can you imagine that? Please, if somebody says that to you, ladies, I want to see some feedback. Are you satisfied with your husband saying they told you I love you on the day you got married and nothing has changed? So yeah, that should be enough. I'm just looking at the comments to see somebody says, nah, yeah, I wouldn't be either. So let me make you laugh a little. So when I started going on with my husband, he was this, he didn't used to talk much. So when it comes to words of affirmation, we are not on the same page at all, right? It is not one of his love languages, for it is one of mine. So he wouldn't say much. He wouldn't say all the things you would like to hear, right? And I would say, but not really get much of a response. So you know what I did one day? I just told him, look, my friends, you see this thing that you don't want to say? If you don't learn how to say it, one day I will be sitting down, a mosquito will just fly and say, I love you. And I will follow the mosquito. Please note, I did not say one fine guy will pass and say I love you. I said a mosquito. In other words, I'm trying to say if the words are so important to me that if I hear it from any source, not necessarily the ideal source, I will likely be drawn to that source. So if you really love me and you claim, oh, I'm all that, and so on and so forth, you need to start saying something. And over time, he learns. So what's there for us to learn here? You can actually learn people's love languages. And if it wasn't your thing before, you can make it become your thing, right? Just so that you can have a good relationship with that person that you love so much. The good thing about love languages is that You can learn just like you pick up English, French, or Yoruba, or any other depending on where you are, what your interest is. You can also learn love languages. So I'll go on to the next one. Touch me. That's physical touch. This is the third love language I'm talking about. So here, this is just about a tender, affirming touch, right? And it's a touch that tells that person that you love them, okay? And when it comes to touch, you have to be careful, right? You can't just go touching people anyhow, especially because in different societies, some touches are seen as appropriate while others are seen as inappropriate. So you have to actually know what is acceptable in my society, what is an appropriate touch, what is inappropriate. And even within the scope of what is appropriate, now you have to think about the person you're dealing with, because it's about making them happy, it's about making them feel loved. So you would have to find out what is an appropriate touch to you, what touch makes you feel loved, have that communication, have that conversation, and then work with that in line. For people whose love language is physical touch, right? A warm hug can go a long way. A warm hug can go a long way to communicate love to them, right? To make them know that you love them, compared to the words, I love you. And you need to be aware of that. So you may be saying, she keeps wanting me to hug her. She keeps wanting me to hug her. I'm not a hugger. It's not my thing. Do I have to? Please, she'll get over it. And you may be thinking that over time she'll get over it. But if it's her love language, she's not going to get over it. She may bear with you for a while, but after a while, she's going to get tired, or she's going to become frustrated. And may think, but I'm doing all these other things for her, and you're thinking that should be enough. I'm doing all these other things for him, and that should be sufficient. But if their love language is physical touch, and you are withholding those touches, those embraces, those pats on the back, those peck on the cheek in the marriage sphere, those kisses, the physical intimacy, and so on, you're withholding it. You're communicating that you do not love them. And even though that's not your intention, that's what you're doing when you withhold those touches. So you need to be aware of what the love language of your spouse is, of your friend is, of your significant other, and so on. You need to be aware of your sister, of your parents, so that you will know how to relate with them. Okay, so physical touch is important. I mean, they're the very brief ones. They're the very brief ones, that. Okay, all right. So I'll go ahead. I'm with you.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm with you. I just needed to do some housekeeping on this end. All right. So, as I was saying, there's some of those touches that are really brief, subtle, implicit. There's not much thought that goes into it, right? You're passing, you tap someone on the shoulder, you want to sit down, you place your hand on their knee for support, stuff like that. Your child is passing by, you rub their head. I mean, there's not much to think about when you're doing some of those things, but there are others that are called explicit, which you have to pay attention, right? Like you're giving a back rub, you're giving a massage, you actually have to focus and concentrate, right? And if you're married to someone whose love language is physical touch, and they say, oh, for instance, I really love a back massage, then you may have to invest some time to learn so that you can be a good masseur or a masseur. So yes, just pay attention, do your part. You can learn. I really need to emphasize this. You can learn. Sometimes people think we don't have the same love language, so I guess that means this marriage can't work. Or I found out we don't have the same love language, so I guess this relationship can't work. No, you can learn the other person's love language. You can seek to understand yours, and then seek to understand theirs, and then learn to communicate in the language that will help you express love to them. All right, so I'll go to the next one, acts of service, and this is help me. So acts of service here, this requires thought, right? So if you have this as a love language, you want people to help you with stuff, make your life a little easier, do something to reduce your stress and so on. And if this is your friends or your partner's language, then you need to actually put some thought into it. Plan, how am I going to help this person? What's on their plate today? What's really bugging them? What's stopping them? How can I reduce their stress today? And you genuinely seek to help them, and then you go out of your way and do that. It shouldn't be half-hearted, because if you do it and you're not doing it with your whole heart, or you do it grudgingly, people will sense that, hey, this is not genuine. You're just doing this. You're doing it out of duty. Have you ever heard that? You're doing it out of duty. I don't feel you're doing it from your heart. And you're like, but I'm doing it now. I'm doing it now. It shouldn't count that I'm doing it. No, I want you to actually do it and do it happily and be involved in it while you're like bring your heart into the act. This, if you want to communicate love to someone whose love language is act of service, you have to be genuine in what you're doing for them. Don't fake it. It won't work. You have to be genuine. Okay, bring your heart along while you're doing the service. Okay, so if you don't bring your heart, you're communicating a lack of love or a lack of commitment, and that's not going to help you. It's not going to help the relationship. So you can ask your partner what they would like you to do for them or help them with. If you can't figure it out, because sometimes you may think and you're like, well, I'm not really sure. I don't know what I'll do that will count. You can ask them to tell you. And then the last one is receiving gifts, and this one, for God so loved the world that He gave. In fact, I think if you went to a school and they said, what's the first love language, and you didn't know anything, you just say, God is love. For God so loved the world that He gave. Okay, gifts, receiving gifts. That's the last one, the last love language, receiving gifts. And here you just think, it's a way of saying, I went somewhere, I thought of you, I didn't just end at thinking of you, I went out of my way to get you this gift, I hope you like it, And some people say, I don't know what to get. Just think about, what does this person like? What did they say they would like to have? Listen to them when they're conversing, when they're talking. Pay attention. You will pick up things that they want or that they hope to do, or places they would like to go, or something they need for an upcoming activity, and so on. And you can turn those into a gift. And please note, gifts don't have to be expensive. Some people think, well, her love language is gift, or his love language is receiving gifts. I don't have money, I can't afford it. You can make a gift. Yes, and I will tell you, once upon a time, on my birthday, we're in school, and my husband, back then just a friend, was broke. But then he wanted to give me a gift. So what did he do? He went to a supermarket in town, and he got me a used book. So he got this book, and he wrapped it in several layers. So there were like 5 wrapping sheets. And after each layer, he wrote a note. Like you're a really special person. Or next one, something. I can't remember what he wrote now, but there were 5 layers of notes, and he tried to change his writing so I wouldn't know. But by the time I got to, I think, the 4th one or so, I think it was his Y or something that gave me away, and I knew it was him who sent the gift. But by the time I got to the book itself, right, I saw that, hey, this book is from him, and then he wrote all this nice, friendly stuff. But I just felt like, oh, this is so touching. I can't forget that gift till now. I never read the book. I mean, I started, but it was I didn't really read it. But the fact is, it was very cheap. It was a used book, but he just put some thought into it, and it became the perfect gift. So you don't need to have money to be happy with somebody whose love language is receiving gifts. You can make gifts. You can buy things that are affordable. You can buy things that are cheap. For someone whose love language is receiving gifts, they are not big on it being expensive. What is big for them is the thoughts that you cared, the thoughts that you thought about them, the fact that you followed through on that thought and got them something nice. Now, I'll quickly go through how can you discover your gifts. I'll just touch on these. Number 1, discover your love language. What is your love language? If you don't know, number 1, observe your expressions. How do you express love to other people. Pay attention. When you're trying to show somebody you love them, what do you instinctively do? Probably that's your love language. Next one, observe the things that you are requesting from others. If you are I'll touch a little more on the first one, which is observe your behavior. If you are quick to touch people, pat them on the back, hug, when you are trying to express love, then probably you are a physical touch person. And if you are quick to encourage people and affirm, you're the one who's always saying, well done, oh, that was beautiful, oh, your hair's so nice, oh, blah, blah, blah. Words of affirmation, you're probably one of those. And if you are the one who is always trying to organize hangouts, let's meet up here, let's spend time here, let's do this together, let's do the huddle, time together, you're probably a quality time person. And if you're the one who's always offering to help people finish a project, complete something they've been working on for so long, they have a problem, you want to solve it, you want to help them clean up if they have been away from home for so long that their house is dirty, you want to help. Your love language is probably acts of service. And if you're the one who gives people gifts all the time, their birthday and anniversary, you always look for opportunities to give, even when there's no reason to still get gifts for people, then probably your love language is receiving gifts. Now, something else to do is to observe so the first one was observe your own behavior. The second one is observe what you request of others. What am I asking other people? Am I saying, let's go for a walk? Oh, I would like us to do like a weekend getaway and something. You're probably a quality time person. If you're asking, could you just help me out with stuff? I have so much this weekend. To really be nice if you could help me fix this, fix that. You're probably an acts of service person. So check all of those things. Just carefully think through, pick each of the gifts, look at them. What am I requesting from others? And then listen to the things you complain about. If you're complaining, what, it was my birthday and only one person got me a gift, you're probably one of those whose love language is receiving gifts. And if you're complaining that your close friend doesn't even hold your hand, even when you're stressed or in trouble, nothing, no hug, nothing, you're probably a physical touch person. So these are some of the things to do. Now, with others, just flip it. Observe the expressions of others. Observe what people are requesting for. Observe what people complain the most about. Ask them. Sometimes it's a direct question. What can I do to enhance this relationship? Ask the question. And sometimes you could decide to do an experiment, right? So you say, okay, this week, maybe you don't know your husband's love language. This week, I am going to do physical touch. I am going to do different expressions with physical touch, right? Next week, I'm going to do a lot of words of affirmation. Only words of affirmation. And then the week after, I'm going to do gifts. I'm going to get him a gift on Monday, another one on Wednesday, another one on just gifts. Just watch over a period of 5 weeks. Which week was the person happiest? Which week did they come back to say, oh, you're fantastic, I felt so much love from you, and so on and so forth. That way you can tell, okay, that the most impactful week, the week they were happiest, the love language you were expressing during that week is probably one of their major love languages. Now, some people have people don't have just one love language. You have a major one, but then there are others. But it's important that you note what that major one is, because if you miss out on it, the rest that you're doing may not be appreciated. So if somebody's major love language is acts of service, and you're not doing anything for them, but you're buying gifts, it's like, what am I doing with these gifts? Or somebody's love language is quality time. They want to spend time with them, and you're like, oh, I'm so busy, but I've provided everything for you. I've given you the house, I've given you money, I've sponsored your weekend getaway with your friends. I've done all of these things. I got someone to clean the house for you, and so on. The person is like, I don't need all of these gifts. It's you that I want. I want you to be here, but you're not here. And you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. So you actually have to pay attention to the love languages of others if you want to keep that relationship going. So as your relationships progress, right, and then you get married, and then you go beyond the 2 years and you're beginning to feel like, hey, the butterflies are flying away or dying, what am I going to do? How do I keep the romance alive? How do I this? How do I that? These are some of the things you can do. Discover your love language and communicate it to your spouse so that they can love you in the way that you feel loved, and you discover theirs so that you can make the right adjustments to love them in the way that they will feel most loved and appreciated. And God will help us to achieve those marriages that last forever. The kind of marriage that you say the love lasts forever, happily ever after. Yes, that's why they say it's hard work because you have to put in some time and effort and so on. Yes, but it's worth it. Don't be afraid. You can learn any love language and become an expert at communicating with it. That's all I have. So yes, so now the floor is open for questions. And I'll hand it back to Ada.
Now, how was that? If you liked it, this is a good time for you to click like. And if you didn't really like it, but then you learned something and you know someone who can also gain from, the things we talked about here, please share. It's a good time to share. Share on Twitter, share on Facebook, share on your WhatsApp, share everywhere. Help us spread the word. Yes. And just in case you have not yet subscribed to this channel, this is a good time to do so. Subscribe, please, and click that notification button, the bell. Yes, click it so that every single time we upload something, you will be one of the first to know. Finally, if you want to tell us what to do on this channel, as in, some of those extra things that we can use to ginger the swagger. Swagger, whatever. Anyway, yes, leave a comment. And if you really enjoyed the video, leave a comment. And if you feel there's something we should do better, leave a comment. And if you don't even like what I'm saying, leave a comment. Bye!